Hey, guys.
I'm still trying to figure out how to be on camera, but hi, everyone.
So do we have a moderator, or is it just us?
You're supposed to moderate me.
Oh, okay. I'm the moderator first. Hey, everybody. Welcome out to LibertyCon. This is the Monster Hunter panel. I'm Larry Correia, and I am here with the lovely Sarah Hoyt. Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
I think everyone knows me.
Okay.
I'm Sarah Hoyt, and I write stuff. And I have a cat who's trying to get on camera.
Cool. And also joining us as a special guest is Faust, the Krasnovian Waffle Hound.
Oh.
My lovely wife, Bridget. I believe they were going to send me an email to a link that I could answer questions from the audience, or maybe it'll pop up in the chat here. There's a little scroll. Okay, the scroll does not say anything. The scroll is just the name of the panel.
I am on Discord. Let me see if people are asking questions. Or I was on Discord. I seem to no longer be, which is kind of interesting.
Okay, cool. So I don't have the official questions, but I'm passingly familiar with Monster Hunter. Okay, there is a chat. All right, there you go. So what I'm going to do here is I will give us a little bit of background if we have any new people. I'm assuming it's probably LibertyCon regulars, so they already know us and know Monster Hunter and the universe. The Monster Hunter universe is a whole bunch of books now. It started with Monster Hunter International back in 2009, created by me, originally self-published. Did really well, and its series blown up from there. There's Monster Hunter Vendetta, and then after that was Monster Hunter Alpha. And then Legion, Nemesis, Siege, Guardian with Sarah Hoyt. And up next is Monster Hunter Bloodlines. And then that's me again. And then there is a spin-off series of 3 novels with me and John Ringo. It's Monster Hunters Grunge, Sinners, and Saints. And then which is another memoirs novel with me and Jason Cordova. And also there's Monster Hunter Files, collection of short stories. Sarah's in there. Oh, and she's got her cat.
He was giving me trouble, asking to come up. So now he's here. This is Havelock Veterinary Hoyt, the worst named cat ever, because Veterinary is Terry Pratchett's dictator and very efficient, and Heavy has 3 brain cells, one sleep, one to eat, and one to beg pets. That's all he does. Oh, and yes, fuzz. I mean, I'm like wearing cat right now.
This is a strange situation because whenever you do these panels, online panels, you have no idea what the audience is doing or if there's an audience even. For all I know, this is just me and Sarah, but there is a chat. They will send me, and I just got a message. They will send me questions as you guys send questions in, and we will try to answer those. So I guess this is the Bloodlines panel. I will talk about that. That's coming out in August. I will be doing a book tour for that. That's not been officially like the actual dates haven't been announced yet, but I'll be starting in Minneapolis, Minnesota, doing a thing for Uncle Hugo's. I know Uncle Hugo's got burned down during the riots. But this is, we're doing it at another bookstore called Dreamhaven in conjunction with Don Bliley from Uncle Hugo's because Don's still shipping books from his house. So I'll be autographing Bloodlines. So if you want an autographed copy of Bloodlines and you're not at one of my 8 or 10 stops on my book tour, this is where to go. It helps Uncle Hugo's out because they're trying to build a new place. So that would be awesome. I'll post all the links to that. From there, I'm driving south across America all the way to New Orleans. So people ask me, are you going to stop in my town? Or if you are directly between Minneapolis and New Orleans, maybe. Other than that, probably not. This year's a little weird. Bum we can't have a real LibertyCon. I miss you guys. And so Bloodline's coming out in August. But before we get in that too much, just we'll recap the last for a little bit because I got Sarah here. And so Sarah worked on the last book. Sarah, would you like to tell these guys a little bit about most of them? I'm assuming have already read it, but if not, would you give us a little background on the last one?
Yeah. First of all, I want to say that I felt a bit when I was a little kid. there was this kid in the neighborhood who had a car with pedals, and it went. And this guy, he was my age, maybe 6 months older, bossed all the kids in the neighborhood because if we didn't behave, we didn't get to play with his car. I didn't get to play with his car very often, but Larry kind of let me play with this cool car with pedals and everything, and he didn't even make me behave, so that was great. There are very few worlds I've wanted to play in, other people's worlds. I sort of always wanted to play in Larry's, and I got early notice of this because he said, hey, if there's a Julie book, would you like to write it? And I'm going, what do I have to do? So is there someone you want? No, do you want to? Sure. So we did that, and it's Julie's book.
I actually approached you about that in
2014.
2014 is when we first
yeah.
And it was still back burner for a while because we had quite a ways to go in the series.
Yeah.
There. But yeah,
it was catch up. But yeah, it was. And then of course when it came through right after I'd moved and when I was apparently sleeping in 2-minute increments. So first I had to get past that to be able to actually write. But it was fun to write. I probably channeled more of me into it than I normally do into most books because for like the 3 people in the room who haven't read it, Julie has just given birth and the baby is taken. And I channeled a lot of me because I could see this situation. So there's some glimpses of older son when I talk about the baby, but mostly because older son is also an enormous baby and very social. But I could figure out what I do at that age if someone took my baby and if I had the skills Julie has. And let's say she is a mother, I mean, in every sense of the word. And she's very creative about figuring out stuff. And I had lots of fun with, I think we're far enough in that I can give the spoiler that a character returns, right?
Once it's out in paperback, spoiler city. I mean, it's open.
So I have great fun with Mr. Trashbags. Especially because it comes back, shall we say, in the reduced state. And I had lots of fun with him because I made him sort of a gonzo pet. And as you guys can tell, I have lots of experience with gonzo pets. So having stopped high-fiving, my husband taught him to high-five. And every time you do this with your hand, he comes and high-five. It turns out he can learn, but not much. So I have already promised people that in the For Real LibertyCon, if there is any way, we'll put him in a harness, we'll bring him in, because they've gotten used to seeing him interrupt panels. But anyway, Mr. Trashbags is call sign is it noses, because that's about the level he's at in the book. And it's possible that I'll eventually be able to go anywhere in public without someone screaming that from the audience, but I'm not counting on it. So
nice. And something like
you're breaking up.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't know what you were saying.
No, the thing about almost two delay years of you're going to be getting this. They keep selling really well.
Yeah. So anyway, it was lots of fun to play in the world. I have been trying to sell Larry on at least a novella in which Grant gets a Portuguese girlfriend, but I think he's trying to be merciful to him. So, because, no one wishes that on Grant. I mean, he's a pain in the ass, but he doesn't deserve to be stabbed in the liver, so. Okay, maybe he deserves to be stabbed in the liver.
Yes,
but that's it.
did really well. Oh, hey, could you mute your thing first? Because I'm my voice and I'm your thing.
You just went away.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, your voice went away. I can see you and I can see you're talking, but your voice just disappeared.
Okay, we're having technical difficulties.
Yes.
Because I hear everything I say about a second after I get it.
Yeah, and I hear most of it, but very low, and then sometimes it disappears. So I just get bits of it.
Okay. Could you turn your on your phone? You turn the mic down.
Okay, it didn't give me issues.
Let's see. Doing it?
Yesterday. I can try to mute it, but I'll mute it when you're talking. Let's try that.
Yeah, Sarah just popped up in the chat from Mike, the guy controlling to turn your speakers down. Okay, now
I can't do that. I can't mute
Okay.
mine. Let me mute mine when you talk.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. I think we're good. Okay, we're good. Thumbs up. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah. So Guardian. Sarah did Guardian, and it came out great. That was a couple years ago, and so Bloodlines is the next one in the series. And if you're familiar with the story, where Guardian left off, we have a little break after that. There's a little time jump where basically Owen and Julie and their new family, they kind of like hunker down for a little while. They've pissed off an ancient evil chaos god, and they basically, the story picks up about a year later, and they've gone back to work. They kind of went into hiding for a little while, peace and quiet, but they're not really mentally suited for that, so that didn't last very long. They've gotten back to work, and the story of Bloodlines picks up where they're trying to figure out how to hit back at the big evil chaos god, and a ward stone, which is, if you've read the series, you know, is a very rare, super powerful item made by Sir Isaac Newton, has come up for bid in the dark market, which is this evil underground alliance of monsters who sell evil crap to each other. And and Sarah got into that a lot in Guardian, where Julie shot a ton of them, and so they actually have a lot better security now because of her. And so the story picks up, and Monster Hunter International decides they're going to steal this thing. So it's being auctioned off, and the idea is they're going to steal it. They're going to be able to use it against the big evil bad guy, and they go to steal it. Only it turns out that they're not the only ones interested in it, and we meet a character that we've been teased for a long time. A little bit of spoiler alert, but Chad's daughter. People have been asking about Chad's daughter for several years now, since we teased her at the end of the Monster Hunter Memoir series. She shows up. And also the Vatican Knights, who are very popular characters, they show up. They want it too. The MCB is there. Agent Franks, Grant Jefferson. They're trying to get it. Everything kind of goes haywire from that point on. Sonia, Chad's daughter, winds up with it, and it's kind of a chase. So the first part of the novel is a chase, but then the big complicating factor is that after the dark auction got trashed in Europe and Guardian, they now have insurance. They offer insurance on their deals. And part of that is they have a big, super, super evil son of a bitch who's basically like, think of like ghostly evil Solomon Kane from hell, is the guy in charge of getting back the stolen items. So that's the basic plot of Bloodline. A certain character who's very, very popular. I was going to say Stricken is in it. People love to hate the guy because he is such a douchebag, and he's a great villain, and he's in this one a lot. Don't want to give too much away. Bloodlines, the whole book takes place over about 72 hours. And then it picks up from there. I won't give you any spoilers. It does have I love the ending. But there's many more planned after this. I'm going to check my chat here real fast. I'm getting some questions. Oh, nope. We're good. Okay. Never mind. That was technical stuff. We're good. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and enter them on the Discord, and Mike will post them for me, and we'll try to get those answered for you guys. And I'll tell you what we got going on. Bloodlines comes out in August. There are the next Monster Hunter novel, and after that will actually be a memoirs novel. So it jumps back to the 1970s. That's the one with Jason Cordova. That's Fever. And then after that will be the next regular series book that's after Bloodlines. That's just me again. That'll be back to I can't say too much, but that'll be back to me again. And then there are some other books in my other series in between there after that, but this is the Monster Hunter panel, so I won't talk about those too much. But that'll just be what I've got going on. There are several more Monster Hunter novels planned after that before the series wraps up. A lot of people because they've heard the title Monster Hunter Omega, and they thought that was the next to the series. No, that's the last book in this series. I've got the plot for that. I know how the series ends up. I know how it wraps up, but how many books are between now and Omega, I can't tell you exactly because I keep having cool ideas that I want to write books. I mean, years ago, originally, this was like when I first came up with this, this was about a 5-year or a 5-book deal when I first started doing this. And that got short-circuited when after Monster Hunter Vendetta, I asked Tony Weisskopf, I was like, I have the next book in the series, which would be Legion, or Earl Harbinger is a really popular character. Would you like me to do an Earl Harbinger novel? And Tony said, yes, let's do Earl Harbinger. That's how Monster Hunter Alpha came about. And when I started doing spin-off books, that all of a sudden the series just blew up huge. So what was originally the idea, the original plot for Monster Hunter got expanded greatly. And so we've now done books based on Earl, Agent Franks, and Julie. And so so I tend to jump between different characters and then get back to the main series. So quite a bit of stuff going on. That's what I've got currently, and really excited for Bloodlines. Bloodlines is pretty awesome. And Sarah, you got anything you want to say?
If I might point out, because one of my people came up with this, and it was not just after the book was delivered, of course not, it was delivered in production. But they pointed out that little Ray needs to wear a t-shirt that says Mommy's Little Spotter. and I'm telling you in the hopes this will happen, because you know it needs it.
Well, I know Jack's probably watching this, and he's my merchandising guy. So if Jack thinks an idea is cool, it will come to fruition. Jack is that guy is awesome on ideas. So we do have a store. We open it once in a while. It's not open all the time because he has a job and I have a job. Well, I mean, my job is writing. I don't have a real job. I just do this. But I don't want to ship T-shirts all week, every week. That would be horrible. So we open the store once in a while. But yeah, he's actually did a Julie and Mr. Trash Bags as like Calvin and Hobbes takeoff one time. That was really super cute. So we've done a bunch of different ones that are actually pretty neat. Let's see. Oh wait, nope, it's back. Okay, sorry. Zoom is weird. I do have a special guest. If she wanted to say hello, you want to say hi?
See if I
Just because it's LibertyCon.
Hello. Hi, Sarah.
That's my wife, Bridget. LibertyCon regular, and we miss you guys. Let's see what I do have a non-Monster Hunter related thing that I did want to plug real fast. I mean, I guess it's we have like 40 minutes for this, so I can ramble a little bit. But I have a writing podcast coming out soon. We've already recorded the first several episodes. It's hosted by me and Steve Diamond. It's called Writer Dojo, and it's basically, I mean, if any of you guys are out there aspiring writers or want to be writers or trying to make it as a writer, it's just basically we want to do a writing podcast that was fun and not woke. And there are some other writing podcasts out there, and some of them used to be really good. And so this is just kind of like Steve and I decided we want to do this. We've recorded the first few episodes. We had a lot of fun. Those will be coming soon. We had to take a little break because he had to get surgery. And once he's healed up, we'll record the rest of the season, and then we'll get that out there. So that should be fun, and I hope you guys look forward to that. Geez, what else? This is so weird. This is like really hard to do a panel like this. Sarah, go ahead.
It's only two of us. So even though we both speak a lot, it's really hard to fill up that much time. I just, as a side comment, yes, behind there, it's my board. Everything I don't want to forget goes there, because everything else gets lost, forgotten. Everyone's address I don't want to lose is on that board. If that board burns up, I'm lost. But one thing I love, because Bridget came up and we have our animals. One thing I love about the virtual panels is people will put fake backgrounds, and then it's like they're being eaten by them, and they appear. And the alternative is you get to know exactly what type of pizza your favorite author just ordered, and the box is still sitting behind them. It's probably a week old because they're writing and they forgot.
Well,
so this is the one room in the house that's clean, because we're hoping to move out of state, because apparently this lovely stuff is caused by altitude, among other things.
Oh,
so when my older son moved away, and when we go to visit him, it also is caused by stress. And I'm an introvert, so yes, I play an extrovert on screen. But when I'm in cons and stuff, the stress will make me break out anyway, so I never noticed. But when we go to visit our son, stay there for like a week, all this stuff heals up. I mean, people die. We have to drive across country to funerals, and my arms are still fine. So we're planning to move, although everything's up in the air. But so the rest of the house is like we're trying to reduce the amount of Hoytness around here, and it looks like a cross between the moving site and the construction site. But this room's clean, because you guys don't get to know what brand of pizza I ordered.
Well, I'll give I'll give these guys a behind the scenes for me. So okay, here, don't worry, Bridget. I'll keep it up high so they won't see how messy my carpet is. Okay, so and so this is actually my writing area right here. This is where I write. This is kind of my computer area where work happens. This is my office. I have a big space. There's my wife. That's where I paint minis. That's the mini painting area. Very important. And that's some of the mini collection. And that's the rest of the mini collection. Oh, and there's more down there. And there's actually a closet full. And I've got about 16 feet of game tables and an Xbox. So my game room rivals Joe Manganiello. I'm coming for you, Manganiello. Except he gets to play D&D with Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn's like the coolest guy ever. And the Big Show. How freaking cool is that? So he wins. Let's be honest. But yeah, no, this is where I write books. This is where I live. Basically, I spend all my day in this office. I've written the last couple books here at this desk. Okay, let's see. We got some questions here. Oh, it's not even a question. It's just Sarah talking about how about her headphones on her computer.
My computer should appear in the Monster Hunter book, because I think it's allied with the monsters. It's actually It has all the things. Dan built it and it has all the things. But it has a mind of its own. So we got this new great camera when things online started being a thing. It won't talk to it. Doesn't exist. I presented the Prometheus Award this year and the camera went down for most of it. So I was just a voice on the screen. The microphone, we have a super duper, no whatever microphone, won't talk to it. It doesn't exist. So what does it talk to? While we were clearing things to pack, Dan found like this box of old computer cams that he bought like for the kids when they were in school. And it's inky dinky, and he bought a box of them because they were like $1.99 and he figured they'd break. It talks to that. And it works with the mic from that. So Tony is asking on Discord if Mr. Trashbags is from America or is it a Neuro trash bag? Trashbags.
Oh gosh. He's from Rylea, sunken Rylea in the Pacific Ocean. He's at that termination spot that's the farthest spot from land on Earth. He's from the city under that. I used to have the coordinates memorized because I was a serious Lovecraft nerd as a kid, but no. Where is Mr. Trashbags from? I could not tell you. Because in official Monster Hunter canon, Mr. Trashbags was not born on Earth. Oh, and Faust is saying hello. Oh, he's a good boy. Look at that. That's a good dog. But Mr. Trashbags could not have been born on Earth because if he'd been born on Earth, he wouldn't have got blasted by the Ward Stone in Monster Hunter Vendetta. So, haha, I remember my lore. I'm just petting my dog as we talk. So, see, I can't do this at regular LibertyCon. So there is one perk. But I tell you guys,
someone is saying they want an Ed and Tanya book. And I just want to point out, if this ever happens, hi Jack, there needs to be a t-shirt with Ed and Tanya and love is love. Just saying it. Okay, now they're asking if Mr. Trashbags is a Pacific sub-islander. These people are not saying. I'm sorry.
There will. I don't have any plans for a full Ed and Tanya book at this time. Just a short story. Ed and Tanya, they're continuing characters. And actually, I love Ed and Tanya. They are some of my favorites to write. Ed is actually kind of a challenge to write because you write a character who is a man or orc of few words. Ed hardly ever uses dialogue, and so writing Ed is kind of hilarious because basically everything you convey with Ed is through just him looking at stuff and how he looks at it and shrugs or grunts, points, nods. I mean, I think Ed, and if you look at the entire Monster Hunter franchise, the whole thing, I think Ed's got that's too many. Ed's maybe got 40 words of dialogue over 10 books. And I'm actually going to count now. I bet it's not even that high. But that's a challenge to write. Tanya, on the other hand, talks enough for both of them. Tanya's a hoot. Been able to write her. Anybody who's ever lived down south, been around a bunch of trailer parks, there's basically a couple different kind of girls in the trailer park. We've all met Tanya. Tanya's awesome. She's actually got a really good arc, and she's becoming a worthy queen of the elves. Tanya's going to lead her people to greatness. I love writing Tanya. So no, there is more Tanya and Ed planned. Ed's just such a badass. I mean, how could I not write? I mean, Ed's just the dude takes on a dragon because it's there. It's a freaking dragon. It's like chucking buses. It's like kicking cars over. And Ed's got two little swords, and he's like, I got this. I don't think there was any dialogue in this. He just nodded at Owen like, I got this. You know, he's being scram human. This is my deal. You know, that's just how badass that is. Let's see. I think we got some more here. Oh, nope. That was just a time thing. Okay. So I guess they give us a full hour. Man, I will ramble about some Monster Hunter stuff then. So if you guys have any questions, send them in. Like, this is so hard because, like, normally I do hundreds of panels, guys. I mean, over my career, I've done hundreds of panels. I've been at cons all of America and taught all these classes. I'm really good at reading an audience. And so I can look at a room of 500 people and I can tell where to go and I can see people's expressions and I get a really good idea. And, but man, this is hard because as far as I can tell, there's nobody here. It's like there was some, you know, it's like they did a little while ago, like they did a fake high school graduation to some anti-gun people did a fake high school graduation to trick a former NRA president into like giving a speech to an empty room. The thing is, I could be doing that right now and I would never know. I mean, this could all be an elaborate ruse and just for me to talk for an hour.
They are all having fun on Discord. They're just not asking questions. They're asking for the Tripp and Holly book. They're just being, you know, they are themselves. And I love my fans. I prefer them in person than over the computer because so many things come at you, like from Discord, because they're all making jokes that it's hard to figure out what they're actually saying.
I don't have Discord, and so I don't have a link, and so I'm just looking at my phone, so I have nothing. So if you see anything, send it my way. Okay, so Tripp and Holly, two other really popular characters. A lot of people freaked out this last time because in Bloodlines, if you read the arc, Tripp's got a girlfriend. It's not Holly, and a lot of people were like, "What the hell?" Hey, man, life is life, and I have plans. Okay, so Tripp and Holly are actually two of my favorite characters in the universe. Tripp, okay, it's kind of funny because actually people always assume that I'm, author self-insert because Owen is a big guy, he's a gun nut, and he's an accountant. And so big guy, gun nut, accountant, people assume that I'm a lot like Owen. Yeah, a little bit of personality, yeah, but for the most part, no. I mean, big guy, gun nut, accountant is because it's an action book. I'm an accountant. I know that stuff. But as far as personality, I'm actually more like Tripp than anybody else in that series because he's kind of a dork. Tripp's a nice guy though, and he's I always like using Tripp because he's like the moral compass of the team. He's the good guy. If they were D&D classes, Tripp would be a paladin. He's a good dude, and plus he paints minis. He's a mini painting nerd. Which, that's what I was doing all weekend. I was at a wargaming convention. That's why I wasn't for LibertyCon yesterday. Now Holly is actually awesome because she's probably, honestly, the toughest character in the entire thing. Holly is a total badass. She is, but simultaneously, she's got the biggest heart and she's the kindest, but it's under this veneer of badassitude. And I love writing Holly. I'm getting a ton of messages now. Let's see. Oh, Jim Mins announced kind of a big deal earlier about Grim Noir. Oh, okay. So, wait. Oh, shoot. Hang on. I think there it is. Okay. All right. Let's see. So, Jim Mins, did Jim actually say something about this, about the TV deal? Does anybody know? I don't know. I haven't talked to Jim. I don't know if Jim has put that up yet. Any idea? Are you on Discord, Bridget?
I can't.
Okay, I have no idea.
We are like the least tech savvy people for the sci-fi community known to man.
Okay, I have no comment on that one at this time.
I can ask.
I do not believe any sort of official announcement has been made pertaining to a possible Grim Noir TV show. So I will say nothing at this point on that, unless somebody tells me that Jim Mins did say that, and then I can talk about it. Okay, let's see. A Mosh and Grant book. Let's see. Oh, is there a possibility about stories about the international outfits? Yes, actually. This is kind of cool, and I think I could talk about this a little bit because it's a smaller project, but I'm doing something that actually is really cool, and I don't think anybody has ever done anything like this in in publishing with this kind of thing before, but I was approached. Several years ago, I took a book tour to Europe, and I went to the Czech Republic. And the publisher of the Czech and Slovak language novels for Monster Hunter is a company there called Phantom. Great bunch of guys. And we hooked up with them. We hung out for several days. I love the Czech Republic. Monster Hunter is huge in Czechia. It's a big hit there. It's very popular. I mean, the whole country, though, is only like 10 million people. So it's not a very big populated country. But I'm like David Hasselhoff in Czechia. And so a couple of years later, actually, this is just recently, they approached me about doing, because I added into the series in Siege, I added Czech Monster Hunters, and you meet a little bit of the Czech Monster Hunter company. They're actually the ones that had the tank that shot the giant. So the Czech Monster Hunters, I refer to a few of them by name, and they exist in the universe, but I haven't said much about them. So I got approached by the Czechs, and they wanted to do an anthology of Czech Monster Hunter stories about Czech Monster Hunters in the Monster Hunter universe. And so this is actually an official thing. It's not in English. So you guys aren't going to see this because it's in Czech. And I'm doing a story for them. Like I said, it's not a huge country, so it's not like a giant market or anything, but I'm just doing this for fun. I've never done it. I mean, this is kind of cool to have Czech MHI, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's the story of, so specifically as far as me writing in English about some of the other companies, yes, actually there are some plans for that. There's plans right now for another Monster Hunter Files short story anthology, which we will see some of them in that. Specifically, there's a couple authors that I've talked to already about doing certain stories. That one we should have did a couple years ago. That's actually been kind of delayed because of me. Some of the other authors I wanted in it have just been swamped with their own writing. And so that kind of got backburnered for a little bit, but now I'm working on that. I got to try to get that done. And so we could get that done for next year.
This is not precisely a pitch, mostly because I hate editing, but I got stuck. It's a long story, but they pulled family favors. I got stuck mentoring a bunch of Portuguese writers who are very cute, very strange. A series of Portuguese Monster Hunter stories with us and Dark Fate and some of it would be hilarious, and I can see it, I just don't want to do it. And it would be beyond amusing because this serves as catnip to the really crazy Portuguese on Facebook who have come to yell at Larry and I that we don't know anything about Portugal. And one of them was like, "You're just the children of immigrants and you've never been here."
No, I'm the
yeah, but I mean, I spent half of my life there through no fault of my own. And, I actually put in the things I like about the country, which is mostly you and this army to do anything. Anyone. You have a 5'5" guy saying, "You can't make me," facing down armed people. It's how they are. So, but this guy wanted to tell us they have the toughest military in Europe, and then got stranger than that. So
yeah, so to put this in background, so the people who don't know what Sarah's talking about here is that we got a review from a guy in Portugal who was all pissed off about how the Portuguese were portrayed in Monster Hunter Guardian, and he was like, offended, which is funny because I'm a Portuguese American. I mean, my parents my dad is from the Azores. My grandpa's from the Azores, and but obviously I'm an American. But Sarah is from there, grew up there, lived a big chunk of her life there, and so we between the two of us, we were passingly familiar with a couple Portuguese people, and so we wrote this book, and but we had this one guy got super butthurt because apparently. I don't know if there's like a Portuguese supremacy or something where like they're absolutely the best and perfect at literally everything.
Yes. Just that's the short version. Yes.
Dude, I got bad news for you. There's a reason my ancestors came here.
There's a reason I left, but it wasn't unusual. And we're talking like in the late 70s, early 80s, to hear people say things like, well, since we're the most developed country in the world, and then we go, come out of the 1500s, come and look at the present. And there is a serious Portuguese supremacy, but there is also what was funny was this guy came to yell at us on Facebook, and it was one of the more entertaining threads because all our fans were going, we love the Portuguese guys in the book. What are you saying? They were mean to them. We love them. They appeal to us. They're the only good state organization, and just kind of funny.
The actual Portuguese monster hunters were better. They did really well. They were like in a hell of a fight and did well. I'm like, come on, man. It's no different than like if you put a gay character and the gay character is anything other than like angelic and sainted and perfect Superman, and they yell at you because how dare you? The thing is, if I write everybody as Superman, that's boring as hell. And gay dudes are normal dudes too. So you write the gay guy as a normal guy, and you have fun with it. And he's a good character. But but insert any group here, insert group X here. Somebody's going to come yell at you on the internet about it. Because if you make them human, it's not perfect.
I want to point out that I was recently told that if you make women anything but perfect in books, you're a misogynist. Which surprised me because if there's no character arc or anything for the character to do, what's the point of writing the book?
Well, it's kind of like the whole strong. We're gonna ramble here for a second. It's like the whole strong woman thing. Okay, it's like if you look at like a real strong woman character in a movie, it's like Ripley from Aliens, right? Ripley starts out, she's like a mechanic on a ship. She's working her ass off, and she does these horrible things. She has to fight these horrible monsters, but she struggles. She fails. She learns. Her personality has flaws. All this stuff happens. Aliens comes around. Next one, she's much more of a hard ass. But even then, she's still got like all these instincts that are, she screws up. She's got motherly instincts that get her in trouble. She's human. Great character. Fast forward to now. Okay, so I was like 70s and early 80s. Fast forward to now, and we get Rey from Star Wars, where it's like, oh my gosh. I am the perfect person and know literally everything in the universe based upon the fact I'm a strong woman. That's boring. That's just boring. But we look at how we write Julie. Julie screwed up. Julie screwed up a bunch of times. I had people like, I didn't like how she got really emotional. Well, her baby got stolen, dude. Freaking deal with it. Yeah, you're going to get emotional. But if you have an emotional character, it's human and relatable,
I find you can't have emotions in books really annoying. But I need self-denounce, again, through no fault of my own. These things just happen to me. I'm doing scripts for the new edition of Barbarella.
Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations.
I'm going to be a total misogynist and evil because she actually uses, her body and to get what she wants. And
how dare you?
We know that's evil. And what is Barbarella? She uses her sex appeal to get stuff done. Of course, there is a fatal intersection of me and Barbarella. So, my editor for Barbarella has nicknamed them the Goon Panel, and he has to have the approval of the Goon Panel. So I had to run the first script by them, and my older son came up the stairs and said, "Mom, there is a lot of Athena in this Barbarella." I said, "Well, these things happen, just fell in." So that's fine. What I just wanted to point out, because it came out in the conversation yesterday and sort of gives you the range of how silly I've gotten. In the most recent speech, I get to have script. I get to have a cameo as an AI whose ship that she's attached to melts in contact with the ocean. And she says, I'm melting. And also, I haven't been the same since that farming habitat fell on my sister. So the fun part of doing this stuff is that you get to have fun. You get to play with things.
Totally. Yeah, guys, the biggest thing about doing this stuff is just if we're having fun, you guys will sense the fun and you'll have fun too. It's the whole contagious enthusiasm thing. I've said this for years, but like honestly, the thing that John Ringo does better than anybody else, any other writer alive, is that when John is fired up and John writes something, then he's fired up when he writes it. When you read it, you're fired up about it too. It comes through the page. It's contagious enthusiasm. So writers, if you ain't having fun, it's going to suck. Make sure you're having fun. I like having fun. All right, I got some more messages here. Let's see. Oh, no, these are just telling me I have 15 minutes left. Okay. I am looking forward to when we have actual cons again. Wait, let's see. I got one here. Yeah, there's a Mosh and Grant book. Grant best get a Portuguese girlfriend. Sure, whatever. Will there be more Mosh and Grant stuff? Yes. Mosh and Grant together? No, I have no idea on that, where that came from. But yeah, no, there's plans for both of those guys are great characters. I really like, actually, Grant gets a bad rap. Grant's actually a great character. The main reason Grant is so hated in the series is because Owen is the point of view character, and Owen hates him. Owen's always hated him from the beginning. They just went like this as soon as they met, and so there's been that whole element there. So you got to remember, to be fair to Grant, almost all the descriptions of Grant in this series comes from a guy who hates his guts. So to be fair, there's a couple different characters like that though. Ultimate Fighting Lawyer. I love Ultimate Fighting Lawyer. Ultimate Fighting Lawyer will be back. I love that guy. He's actually too Shane Durant. He's a great character. We'll see more of him. But yeah, there is more for Mosh to do, definitely. You guys who know me, you know that I don't do anything on accident. If I put a thing into a book, like a little tidbit, like a little tantalizing nugget of something, and you're like, "Ooh, gee, I wonder if we're going to talk about that again." Well, yeah, you know what? I'm the guy. I'm good at that. I'll make you wait 4 or 5 books, but I'll dump it on you. In fact, in Bloodlines, not to get too specific on spoilers, but there are a couple that I'm really proud of that I have been waiting for like 5 or 6 books to dump some stuff on you. And we get into it. One of them is like, people always ask me, like, who's Uncle Leroy? We were going to meet Uncle Leroy because, I've talked about Leroy Shackelford a few times, just in passing. It's just that he was the boss's brother, and Dorcas talks about him, and Earl talks about him. I think Julie mentions him once, but we never see much about him or his family. So I'm not going to say anything else, but, that's fun. So when you get those payoffs years later, that's always a hoot. So it looks like we got a few minutes left. So I'm going to, hey, Sarah, you mentioned Barbarella. Do you have any other stuff that you want to plug to this audience that you've got going on, or that you want to sell them?
It should be on pre-order, but it's not because life happened. But it should be this week. So I went just a little crazy, and there is a novel. This started in a conversation with friends about how do we do Rex Stout in the future? Well, he's a cyborg. The equivalent of Archie Goodwin is his wife. And it's kind of the same flavor of crime. So it's like a universe that has an underground and rich people who do horrible things and poor people who do horrible things. And it's actually the first book to come out in what I call the Schrodinger Universe. And this is going to be, I don't know what to do with it, so I'm writing it. But it has like 5 or 6 series in it, but it's a universe setup. And it's a very messy. There's a reason it's called Schrodinger. Let's say various worlds are at different times from other worlds. So this is 5,000 to 10,000 years in the future, but depends on the world. But it fits all sorts of things in it. It's sort of a timeline. And this is the first one to come out. Not that it's the most representative or whatever. It's just what was up. And there will be other stuff. I have 5 or 6 things started that got interrupted, and we realized we had intended to move from the current house in about 5 years. And that was the idea, because then both kids will be launched in their lives, and we need a guest quarter for when they're visiting, and that's it. And we can get this house. We bought this house as a short sale, so it needed to be fixed up, because the people who lived here has been crazy. Trust me on this. Just trust me. You don't want the stories. Besides having been, the things they did were scary, but mostly they didn't do anything. They just let the house go to pot. So we had a plan of things to do over the next 5 years, and we found ourselves having to accelerate that. So there will be several books coming out. I know some of you will be very, very excited. There is a dice book coming out. It's pretty much done. It needs editing and fixing up. She is completely insane in the dits, but people love her, and I don't know why. And other stuff. There's other stuff almost done or done. So over the next year, there will be books. We'll talk about them at the next Liberty Cup.
Cool. All right, I got a few things to plug if you guys are interested. I've got a raffle going on right now if anybody wants to. If you go to my blog, it's just monsterhunternation.com. It's the first post on there. There's entered for a chance to win a bunch of books by me and a bunch of other writers. Basically, you're signing up for people's news lists, mailing lists. Jump on there if you want a chance to win free books. Now, I'm going to scroll down real fast on I went on my computer here. I'm going to scroll down real fast so I can give you guys like the update of what all I have going on. So, Writers Podcast coming soon. I already talked about Writer Dojo. The Monster Hunter Bloodlines e-arc is out now and will be out in August. I have another thing in August coming out I'm really excited for. It's an Audible exclusive at first called Lost Planet Homicide. So think gritty cop show in space. It's pretty awesome. I pitched it as Space Bosch. It's a novella. It came out really awesome though, guys. Like seriously, really awesome. And that's going to be read by Oliver Wyman, who you guys know as the narrator for the most of the Monster Hunter novels. Also, just coming out soon, it'll be out next year, is No Game for Knights. Is a new, it's a follow-up to Noir Fatale. It's a new anthology edited by me and Casey Ezel. I got a bunch of authors in there, but a bunch of new authors because basically we had so many people in the first one that wanted to do a noir story that didn't get to because we could only fit so many in a book that we've actually got a deal for 2 more. So we're doing 3 noir sci-fi fantasy novellas. The next one's called No Game for Knights. That'll be next year. And then my next book coming out after Monster Hunter Bloodlines is called Servants of War. And that's me and Steve Diamond wrote that together. And we've been describing it as a World War I trench fantasy. It's kind of a fairy tale world based on the Eastern Front of World War I. So it's like 1917 meets The Witcher in vibe. It's pretty badass. I'm working on that currently. That's my current project. Okay, that's what I got going on. So, and then see me on book tour coming up in August. And I'm looking forward to that. And I think we're good. Sarah, got anything else? Oh, your mic's off.
The book that's coming out, it's called Other Roads. And roads are HODES, and you'll figure out why in the book. I think that's it pretty much for now. I think the first Barbarella that I did the script for comes out July 4th, but they still haven't sent me the ones to be signed, so those might take a little longer.
Cool.
And I think that's about it. As I said, once the great move gets done, and and I have a newsletter on Substack. called Schrodinger Path. If you look for it or you ping me, I will give you the way to sign in. And that's about it.
Cool. Okay, guys. Thanks for coming. I don't know if there's anybody here, but I'm glad you were. I look forward to next LibertyCon when we can do this in person again. And we miss you guys. And y'all have a great day. See you later.